Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Welcome, friends and family, to New Life Live. Chris Williams sitting in for Steve today. I have Dr. Alice Benton with me.
Howdy, everybody.
And Dr. Sheri Keffer.
It's good to be here with you both.
All right. Fall is coming. Schools are opening back up. Life is not quite back to normal, right? We have these huge decisions on masks or not masks, vaccinations, not vaccinations. Are things opening up as normal? Are we back into the routine? All of this to say is that there are a ton of stressful decisions that are still in front of us in today's world. Guys, what's the impact that we're experiencing as a result of all of these stressful decisions that we're trying to make that we feel either forced upon us or that we're trying to navigate through or that can affect relationships? Like what's going on the inside as a result of this?
I don't know. I see a lot more anxiety, just generalized anxiety disorder, kind of across the board as... You know, people are feeling uncomfortable with what's going on, and it doesn't even really matter what side you are on as far as the level of your thoughts. It's this tension that people are feeling as things are becoming more and more polarized.
Yeah.
And I think people are finding it harder to accept each other for differences of opinion, and it's just such a critical part of life, is being able to accept others even though they may see things and believe in a very different way than you.
Yeah, and we see this accumulation of stress that isn't just impacting our own anxiety, but impacting the relational anxiety. You know, like you said, how do we be with other people who think or believe differently than us? And does it have to be contentious? Does there have to be animosity around that? And really, I think that's why Jesus shows us a much, much different way of how do we be with people who are different, you know?
And something positive that can come from the increased tension, conflict, and anxiety is an awareness of our need, spiritual need and emotional need, that because I'm so overwhelmed, I can finally acknowledge I can't handle all of this on my own, and I need some assistance. So I think there's also an increase in people's willingness to call for help, to get into structured mental health assistance, and to reach out to God and to church and to community. And now is always the right time to do that, because there'll always be more stress and problems in the future that will be added on to what we're dealing with today. And if we can face them with 2 or 3, if we can face them with a group, there's a better outcome. We persevere better.
You know, we also see this increase of unhealthy coping mechanisms, right? We're trying to medicate or escape this frequency or buzz of anxiety that we're feeling. And so if we're vulnerable to addiction or we're vulnerable to unhealthy patterns, those things really flare up. That's where we want you to join us at the Repurpose Life Conference, September 25th. Steve and I will really be talking about how these things come up, how they're manifesting themselves and hurting us, even though they feel like they're helping, and really how do we recover back our life? How do we repurpose it in a way where we can be healthier people in a contentious world, in an anxious world? And I think that that's really part of what Jesus is talking about when we will be lights on a hill, shining beacons. We want to help you get there, so join us in the Repurpose Life Conference, September 25th. It's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And with that, we will be right back after this.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, October 15th to the 17th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Mylan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Chris Williams, again with Dr. Alice, Dr. Sheri, and we're going to go right to Miriam in Washington, D.C., listening to us on WAVA. Miriam, are you there?
I am here.
All right, talk to us. What's going on?
Okay, I'm 77 years old. I've been married to my husband, who is the same age, for 54 years. We met in high school and went to college, and I don't want to tell you what his actual profession was, but we're both retired. He was a physician, and I was an operating room nurse, and we're both retired. So anyway, I believe that he has narcissistic personality disorder. My sister, who is deceased now, and I used to talk a lot about psychological things. She had a doctoral degree in marriage and family counseling, and that's where I first came up with the notion that could be what his problem is. But then he had a bicycle accident on our country road about 3-4 years ago, and he hit a pothole and was thrown from the bike to the side of the road and was unconscious.
Oh, wow.
And one of our neighbors just happened to drive by and saw him laying there, so she called the rescue squad. And since that time, I mean, he's never met my emotional needs to speak of. And, when we were young, we were physically very attracted to each other. And he's not able to do anything about that now at his age, he says. So, I mean, we hardly ever touch, but he's verbally abusive.
Oh,
and has been for quite some time.
What kind of things does he
I'm
say?
wondering-
What kind of things does he say, Miriam?
He criticizes me for many things, like he thinks I go to too many movies. I have these responses that I've chosen, I guess, because I want to avoid him. I want to hear all the ridicule. I don't think that I'm any of the things that he accuses me of being. I mean, one time he called me an effing bitch, and I thought that was the worst that he could say. But, he criticizes how I manage my money, and I get $900 a month only from Social Security. And if I am able to pay off my monthly charges on my credit card he will give me $500.
So Miriam,
let me
jump in, because I think we get a good picture that he's both controlling, he's
Okay.
critical, he's not connected to you. How can we help you? Is there a question for us today?
Well, I don't know what to do. I know what's available. Our county has an abused women's shelter. I don't want to move out. I have no money, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, I really have no money.
So
and I can't afford therapy. I was in that for 10 years.
okay.
I don't want to leave my home. We live
Yeah.
in the country, and it's beautiful there. That's my respite, actually. But when he's not there,
Yeah, you
know,
love where you live and the life you live. You just are really, really suffering
Yeah.
with the person who you do that with.
yes. And last
Has
night,
he gotten any? Has
took
he?
it over the edge.
Well, let me. Oh, what happened last night?
Yeah. We had a financial meeting, and he hit the ceiling about a lot of things concerning me. It's all critical of me. And he, see what I wrote down here. He said to me, "Your death is not happening soon enough."
Oh wow. Well, let me jump in there again because I think we got
Wow.
a really,
Okay.
really painful and
Yeah.
this starts to get scary, right? He's
Yes.
talking about some very, very scary
called it-
things. Do you have family?
Yes, and I call. I do. Our 3 adult kids live in the area. 2 of them, anyway. One of them is in North Carolina.
Okay.
And I've talked to them over the years.
Well, hold on.
and,
Let
I
me
could say-
let us jump in. Okay.
All right.
So, I believe you need an intervention. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you that.
And everyone needs to get on board. Meaning, when I say everyone, I mean you and the children need to get on the same page.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, they know what's going on.
I know that they know, but now we need an action plan
Yeah.
because what's happened is you guys have
Yeah.
talked about and complained about his behavior for a long time, but really haven't
Yeah.
done anything about it. And I think he's probably
Yeah.
carried too much power and wielded too much fear over you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
none of us want to break up the family, and he's already disinherited our son.
okay. So-
my husband, was a physician, as I said. And
So
our son
so
took
so
over
Miriam
the
again,
practice.
Miriam, let me jump in. Okay, so
Yeah, sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
that's okay. There is more power that you have that you're not accessing. Okay,
Okay.
so fear does that. Fear thinks that you can't do anything about it. It puts you in a helpless and hopeless situation, but you actually have way more rights. And so, before I turn this over, I think the first thing you need to do is contact a lawyer.
Okay.
A-
I'm writing these down.
Yes, a family rights lawyer. So, Alice, what do you think?
Hold on, just a second. My pen ran out of ink. We've got another one here. Okay, lawyer.
Miriam, you're
Just a minute, please.
Miriam?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Your fear tells you that if you take any of these action steps Chris is proposing, that you will break up the family. But the truth is the family has been broken probably for decades. And the steps that you take will reveal more of how broken the family is. I hope your husband responds in a godly way, but his behavior historically says that he probably won't. So your steps won't break the family. Your steps will actually give it the best possibility of saving the family, not saying anything and remaining and tolerating adds to the breaking of the family. Standing up for truth and for self-protection gives a chance to save the family.
Okay.
What
Family.
has kept you there, Miriam, all these years with somebody that's so abusive to you? What has prompted you to stay?
The worst. Well, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but I love him. I've loved him for so many years, and if he has the mental affliction that I think that he has, and my sister thought he had, I feel sorry for him. And I try to represent
that very thing is a weakness. That pity that you have for an abuser is why you stay. And I imagine you're a therapist that loved you for 10 years and fought for you and probably encouraged you to break away from him. The reason you stayed, even with all that work, is because you said, I love him. I don't want to leave him. And that, even though Chris is suggesting you call an attorney, that vulnerability in you, that is connected to an abuser. Leslie Vernick has an amazing book. It's called The Emotionally Destructive Marriage. And she writes, it's a great book. We're going to actually send it to you. But she writes, she writes and talks about the difference between an emotionally disappointing marriage and an emotionally destructive marriage. Like when your husband said, your death is not happening soon enough, do you know what he was wishing? He was wishing death upon you.
Oh, sure.
That's just
and
horrible.
In all honesty, I've had thoughts like that. Like, man, I wish I could get rid of him somehow, or wish he would leave, or and then these terrible, when I'm really angry at him, that very thought. I would never do anything, but that thought.
Miriam,
that
it's completely understandable, because ongoing unrepentant sin always leads to destruction and death. And some of those are self-protective thoughts that you're having. God's way of loving is not tolerating evil. His way of loving is bringing about consequences for evil. He says an angry man must suffer the consequences, or he will enact that anger and that toxic behavior yet again. And so your tolerance and your compassion for your husband has actually enabled evil to continue in your home. Your children and you and your marriage need you to take a courageous, risky stand so that you can break this cycle of evil.
And ultimately what you're saying,
makes sense to me.
yeah, and ultimately what you're saying, whether he hears this or not, but what you're actually saying is, we aren't against you, husband. We are against your destructive behavior. And that's what we're setting boundaries around. So we're going to, so here's what I want you to do. Miriam, today, with the help of your children, you need to contact a lawyer, a family rights lawyer.
Okay.
Because you need, if nothing else, fiduciary protection. Because you got to live, you got to survive.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
that's.
I don't have.
So hear me out.
I don't have any. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So again, when you say you don't have any, how long have you been married?
54 years.
You have 54 years of his income, because it's not his income; it's y'all's income. Got it? That's just how it works here in America. That's how it works in most states. So I just want you to know that's you have plenty of resources, but you have been gaslit all these years to believe that you don't, and that's a lie. So you're going to contact a lawyer to get back into that truth, to know your rights. Then you're going to get back into your own counseling to understand what's going on inside of me. And you're going to have a meeting with your children about, what do we need to do next? How do we protect everyone from husband, dad's, grandpa's destructive behavior? And as you're reading through Leslie Vernick's book, we're also going to send you a copy of Understanding and Loving a Person with Narcissistic Personality Disorder. I want you to read Leslie's book first, and then the second book, Understanding and Loving a Person with Narcissistic Personality Disorder. Okay? And then you'll begin to take these steps so that you feel more secure. You feel more steady on your feet, more relaxed in your life. And you may need to take these steps. Asking really important questions about, does he have firearms? Does he have the means to carry out something destructive? And if so, that's where you need legal protection and safety.
All
right?
Okay. You mentioned a second book.
Yes, we're gonna send you a copy of Understanding and Loving a Person with Narcissistic Personality Disorder.
And sister, we will be praying for you. You're up against a lot, but God is mightier than all of that.
And so, Miriam, thank you so much for calling in. And again, start on this track. It takes one courageous decision. It's amazing how one courageous decision can lead to a whole different new way of life. Speaking of that, Life Recovery Today show airs on NRB TV. It's on Thursdays. And we'll be in person at the Repurposed Life Conference on September 25th. So, again, Life Recovery Today on the NRB TV on Thursdays. Check that out. There's so much really, really good material, information, and life-giving help that Steve provides through that program. And with that, we will be right back after this.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. The New Life Every Man's Battle online workshop can help.
After 7 years, he just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Houston, September 10th through the 12th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live, and any gift in the month of August, and we will send you a copy of Understanding and Loving Your Child with ADHD. And I just want to mention that your gifts help us tremendously. And really the way that I look at it here at New Life is that your gift isn't just a gift. What it really is a partnership. Is that it's us as a movement, as a people, as a community that are passionate about seeing God's healing happen in life's hardest places. And that we are participating with God and seeing people, and Sheri, you'd mentioned in an earlier show, I'll get this out, about soul injuries. And that when life happens to us in such a painful way that it affects our souls, there can be such a trap there and stuck. And obviously we can see very painful and destructive patterns out of that. Where do we turn to? Where does our help come from? And so, yes, we are here to be part of God's hand, healing hand, and helping hand in those hardest places. By donating, by giving a gift to New Life, you are partnering with that. We cannot do that without you. And we can't do that without your contributions, both financial and just your investment in your phone calls and your access of the network and your talking about our work. So thank you for doing that. And again, give any amount in the month of August. You get a copy of Understanding and Loving Your Child with ADHD. And also Club New Life. Club New Life, by joining Club New Life this month, you will get Time with God as a welcome gift. This is 100 Days of Peace devotional, a New Life journal, a restoration Bible, 7 ways to choose healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, and a New Life tote, grocery tote. And so, guys, you get, by being a part of Club New Life, and that monthly donation, you get access to our videos and you get these amazing resources. It is such a benefit. If you're ready for more healing, ready for more growth, ready for more partnership in what God is doing in this healing ministry, join Club New Life today. With that, we're going to go right back to the phones to Carol in Washington, D.C., listening on WAVA. Carol, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Carol. How can we help you today?
Well, I guess I'll be like other callers I've heard. I'll start with my question because I'm going to meander around, and this will give you some place to kind of direct your thoughts.
That's helpful for us.
I'm 61, and I've been married and divorced twice, and I've been divorced now for 6 years, or from the last one. But I guess my question is, I've been basically a depressed person my whole life, and I wonder what I could really expect, from a counseling situation. Because let me just I was a Navy brat, and we moved a lot, and I never made no lasting friendships of any sort. We were just always moving, and I never felt like I fit in the schools where I was. I was a good student. I learned early performance, try to earn love or whatever, but I married the first guy that I had a relationship with. Then we divorced 7 years later, and then I met, I guess a narcissist. It was serious love bombing. He just thought I was the sun and the moon and the stars, and I've listened to your program enough to know that. Before I think about it, I just wanted to thank Sheri in particular. Your book, Intimate Deception, was very helpful to me, and you're the one that introduced me to the love bombing idea. So otherwise I could never use that term. But anyway, after the initial, really that phase of it, then he was a highly critical person, and nothing I ever did was good enough. He was never wrong. Everything was always my fault. He was passive aggressive. He would phrase things in such a way his hands were always clean, so he could always say, it wasn't me, it was something you did. But anyway, until I listened to your program, I didn't even realize that porn was a problem. And he was a long-term porn user and a sex addict, and I lived with him for 20 years. Wow! And it was. Well, he just expected. He told me we're gonna have sex every 3 days, and if we don't, then I'm not going to be married to someone like that.
Wow!
So I'm a codependent. I'm an introvert. I'm a pleaser.
So Carol, because we're limited on time here, what's the question for us today? How can we help you?
Well, I've lived with that. I lived with that for so many years, and now I've gotten out, and I'm kind of stuck, and I did some counseling off and on around the divorce. But can I expect to change who I am as this person that I've been for all these for my whole life?
Well, I don't think you need to change who you are. I think you need to change how you feel.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Right. So those are two very different things. How God made you is great. It's perfect. It's His design. But how relationship taught you to feel about yourself is horrible. And so you hear the music. We're gonna go to a break here in a minute. And so we want to help you feel different, and most importantly, relate differently, so that you can feel differently about yourself, differently about the world, and return that light and that hope. So early on, the lights went out, and that's what was the depression. And I'll just say this, and this is really important for us and those listening. one of God's primary reusable and renewable energy sources for us is the relationship that we have with other people. It's one of the best antidepressants that we can have out there to our access, and we're going to help you access that right after this, Carol.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Sheri Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, a physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We're talking with Carol, who, is just struggling with a lot of relational brokenness and pain and frustration in her life. And so Sheri, where does Carol go from here?
Oh, Carol, I think you and I have probably more in common. If I was having coffee with you, we would just probably compare notes together and you would not feel so alone. I remember having gone into a small group experience because I'll own this, my people picker was broken. I literally was choosing folks, men that I was being hurt by. But part of what was going on with me is I didn't believe that I was enough. I didn't believe that I was lovable. I felt worthless. And so I kept, I guess compromising and just was glad that somebody wanted me, basically. But I realized I need to go into a small group experience. And that's where I want to invite you. I sat my very first time, there was 3 guys and 3 gals in this small group. It was through Townsend and Cloud. They had used to have Monday Night Solutions, and they had a group that started up. And so I was very brave and volunteered. But the very first night I looked at a guy, his name is Mark, and I said to him, I'm really scared. I don't feel comfortable with you. I don't feel safe with you. And Mark looked at me, and with all the compassion in his heart for not ever having met me before, he looked at me and he said, how can you feel afraid of me when you don't even know me? That was a projection. I was putting that on Mark as a man, and I had a lot of hurts that came on the heels of being in a relationship with men. But I had to get into my own recovery and learn how to become connected to other people, to your point, Chris, that you made earlier. Because we can't heal. We can't even face our depression. We can't face our anxiety in isolation. It really requires that we are face-to-face with other people.
Yeah. Yeah. And Carol, we want you to have a new relational experience. And really, I think that starts non-romantically. It starts probably with other women in your life.
Yeah.
God makes some very outlandish promises, Carol, about peace that surpasses understanding. And Paul talks about learning to be content in any situation, whether going through good times or bad times. And in the world's standards, that's unachievable in this broken, suffering world. But I think that we should go into God's redemptive process, which includes small group, and I think it includes individual therapy, with the hope and the expectation that there can be miraculous change for us. I was imprisoned by my anxiety a number of years ago, struggling to open up to people. And I entered into the process that we want you to. And that learning to be content in all situations, it's not 100% true for me, but I'm a whole lot closer to that now than I was 10 years ago, because God is faithful to his promises if we're willing to submit consistently and over a long period of time. It always takes longer than we want it to, but if we stick with it, we will see the results, we'll reap the benefits.
So, Carol, here's here's what we're going to do. We're going to recommend that you, and actually, if you stay on the line, we have some great therapeutic resources there in the Washington, D.C. area. And so we would love for you to get into group therapy and get into your own work. And we're also going to send you a copy of Healing is a Choice. And so that will kind of give you, let you go back a little ways in your own story and start putting the pieces of the puzzle together of like, how did I get to where I am right now and the pain, and how do I, from 61 moving forward, get better pieces of the puzzle to create a better picture moving forward. So we're going to do that for you. And so, Carol, thank you so much for calling in today. We greatly appreciate it. And now we're going to go to Esther in Allentown, Pennsylvania, listening on WRGN. Esther.
I was going to say, do you want to send or take your life back? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's on your way.
Yes. So you're going to get 2 books.
Hello.
Esther,
thank you for
yes.
taking my call.
Well,
okay, I'm calling. I love my husband. I love the Lord. I know that my husband loves the Lord, but I'm not quite sure he understands the love of God, because you can't give what you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And my question to you, I'm going to ask, is how can my husband have a breakthrough in his trust issues, so that he can see God as he is, see himself, and then see others? That would include myself and our daughters and others that God would have him to see.
But why does your husband not trust?
I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't trust. It has nothing to do with me, but he lays it over me as if it's my issue, or I give him reason to mistrust, and I
Esther,
never.
who in his life wasn't trustworthy? Who betrayed him?
Through conversation, I think his mom at one point did, and a sister at one point did.
Do you know? Do you know how they did?
Yes. There were many children in the family, and he found out later in life that the last 2 were by not his father, someone else, and I think that hurt him badly. And the sister stole from him, so he has trust issues with finances. So if he can't find something or whatever, he'll say, well, I'm not going to pay this because I can't find this. Somebody must have came in the house and took it. Or, I said, nobody's been in the house. So, just getting repairs and things done is all like, where's the person? Are they going to be outside? Don't look too hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just accusing things for no reason, because I would never, or never thought, or never would. So I realized through much prayer that the only thing I can get to, you think, is that he's overlaying something from the past in the present.
That could absolutely be true, but
do you-
Esther, I want to shift the focus. So the focus is somehow, if he could realize how much God loves him, that he would be able to trust. Hear me say this. I'm not saying that isn't true, but that's incomplete. Because his problem isn't that he doesn't trust God. His problem is that he doesn't trust people because he didn't learn love with people.
Okay.
Does
But
that make-
God gives love. If you know God's
Absolutely,
love,
but how does he do?
regardless of
But
anybody else's
Esther, how
done,
do
you know
how
you're
do
loved.
sure? But how does God do that?
He does that because he loves on us and he
but
saves
listen,
us and he's with us and
Esther,
we can trust him.
okay, Esther, hear me,
I
hear
don't know,
me,
he
hear
puts
me.
people in our lives, you're saying that
Yes.
if we don't have a life example, then we
So
we can't
Esther,
accept his
Esther,
love.
let me jump in, because I got to do this for time. We definitely want to help you out here, okay? So the first thing I want to point out, take a deep breath with me.
Okay.
Your energy. Feel the energy. Feel how fast it is. Feel how anxious it is. Okay? You're wanting this solution because I think that his questioning and his anxiety is really, really impacting and affecting you. And that makes sense that it is.
Okay. Yeah, it's affecting me because you keep thinking that we've gotten past this, and it's not. In the morning, he'll read the Bible, get up in the morning, and then get up accusing me of something.
Yeah, and that's got to be
blindsight.
Yes.
So you never know when it's going to come.
Okay.
So it's something deep-seated that needs to be dealt with. It's a rooting out of something.
Esther, you're right. That he has a lot of work to do, and he is punishing you and your daughters for the sins of other people. And that is so unfair to your family. And it brings a whole lot of stress and discord that's unnecessary because you're trustworthy. And I'm going to gently point out to you something about you that you could adjust to help your whole family.
Okay, I would like that.
Oh, good. I thought you might. I think it's hard for you to be empathic and understanding of him because he's been so accusatory of you. So of course you're quick to defend yourself. If you could slow down, as Chris is trying to help you do, and acknowledge that your husband's trust has been broken deeply by very important people in his life, and for that reason, it's hard for him to trust even you or the helpers that come into your family. Validating that he has reason to trust without being so quick to defend yourself would bring about a safer level and environment within your family. And it would help your husband lower his defenses. You're quick to say, I don't know why he can't trust. It certainly hasn't been me. And although that is true, the faster you can get to, husband, you have reason not to trust. And I want to hear about your fear. And I can listen as long as you're not being abusive. And as long as you're not being disrespectful, I want to hear and I want to listen. And it will do a world of good for you and your family.
So Esther, we're going to go to a break right now. We'll come back right after this to help guide you in the right direction.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today. Living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. And we're talking with Esther today. And Esther, this is a really, really hard situation that you're in when your husband is carrying all these trust issues and putting them all on you and putting you in a really, really tough and painful position. But I want you to know that all of what you're feeling and telling us is that your problem is him, and if he could get better, you can get better. And though I believe that that's true, here's the problem. As long as he's the problem, you're powerless against it. And so I want you to be able to find more peace and more security in yourself. Now, also, I want you as a couple to be able to find more security in your relationship. And so there's more individual and together work that needs to be done, but we're going to start with the individual. And so I think in the problem that your husband is presenting and living out in your life, that you literally need to take your life back. And so we're going to send you a copy of that. We're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back. And I'm going to go out on a limb and send you also a copy of How We Love. I think the temptation will be to go to How We Love first, but I would start with Take Your Life Back and maybe invite him into reading the book with you. I want you to stay on the line because we also, in addition to those two resources, want to be able to get you into some counseling help in your area. And so connect with one of our therapists and begin that healing journey, begin it together. But know this, that Esther, there's so much more solution inside of you long before your husband makes any decision to change on his own. So thank you so much for calling in today. And we're going to go to one final caller today. We're going to go to Ann in Flint, Michigan, listening on WSNL. Ann, are you there? Ann? Do we have you? Okay, we're going to go to Candy in Melbourne, Florida. Candy, are you there?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much for taking my call. I just need some help. I've been listening for a long time, and you guys have given me so much help and insight. So now I need some help with my 19-year-old daughter who lives with me. I am just getting a little frustrated right now. I've been trying to be very supportive and giving her the love and grace that you guys say are so important for her because she's been through some trauma. Mm-hmm. But right now I just think she needs a little bit more of some boundaries and tough love to help her to grow up. She makes one step.
Well, what's she doing? Give us a for instance. For instance, example, this is
Yes, she recently, she'll make one step forward. She half-heartedly enrolled in college, but she's not making any effort to follow through. I kind of have to follow her with, what's going on? When is it starting? What's the tuition? She says, I don't even know what I'm going to study. She has no vocational goals. If I ask her about a job, she'll say, I'm not sure I want to continue.
Hold on. Candy, why in the world is she even considering college if she has no idea what she wants to study?
Well, I think part of it is, I guess, my expectation that she has to do something. She's living at home. She's 19.
So hold on here. What are you afraid of?
I expect her to be
No. What are you afraid of? Not what you expect of her. Your expectation is coming from fear. What are you afraid of?
it's a kind of a long story, but I'm afraid of her not being able to mature and grow into a productive person in society. She's had a lot of problems, and I'm afraid of her, sabotaging her life and not making good choices and good decisions.
Okay. Yeah. So what's inside of her that would keep poor decisions keep the poor decisions alive?
She's had some trauma, and the past 4 years.
So what work has she done on her trauma?
Well, we've gone through everything. We started with counseling, and she was evaluated by a psychiatrist who diagnosed her with depression. And but things spiraled out of control in high school to the point where I did have to put her in a residential program. So she was there for a year last year, and she's just the past year been has been living with me. So so she's had a pretty traumatic, her teenage years have been pretty traumatic, and it's taken a toll on both of us. And right now we're trying to mend our relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be very, as I said, patient, and I want her.
So let me jump in. So we're going to help you
Mm-hmm.
adjust expectation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're expecting something that she can't do. But we want her to head in the right direction.
Yes.
Yeah. Sheri, what do you think?
When you said she had to go into residential for a year, that's a long time. What happened to your daughter? What happened to her?
Well, to summarize, her dad and I were divorced, and she had, she had contact with him, but basically she did not feel loved by him. And he did not meet her needs. And then he died when she was in 8th grade. Okay. So that was pretty traumatic. Yeah. I realized that was the beginning of her trauma. So then we moved to get a new start. So then she had to go into a new environment, new school, new friends, and so forth. And she just could not handle all those changes and all those emotions, and it just spiraled out of control.
Do you think that part of your expectation for her to get into school and somehow show herself as capable of being a capable adult has to do with your guilt?
No, I really, honestly, I feel no guilt. I really don't. I really did not even put...
You don't feel any responsibility for the fact that she grew up in a divorced family, that she, you moved quickly after the death and she had to acclimate to new kids at school. You don't feel any responsibility?
I am responsible because I made the decisions.
Right.
I made those decisions. But if you're asking, do I feel guilty that somehow I was not... I did not parent her well. I was a single parent I am a single parent for 19 years.
So hard.
And I've been there and been very intentional. I mean,
right.
And I have done everything, including, taking her for counseling because I didn't know that she was
Candy,
struggling.
hold on.
But you know what? She doesn't know you love her. The same area of hurt that your daughter has, that she had with her dad, she has with you. She feels like if she can't perform, that you're not okay with her. And she's got to know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. And it might mean that you and your daughter need some counseling together. In order to...
I have actually tried to. Yes, I did try to get
let's do that. Let's do that again, Candy. Let's try this again. Let's go back into counseling with you and your daughter. We're going to send you a copy of How We Love Our Kids, How We Love Our Children. I want you to go through that because it teaches us how to connect deeper. So, Candy, thank you for calling in. Sorry to cut this a little short, but we're out of time today. Thank you for being with us, and we'll be with you
Thanks for
next
listening.
show.
We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.